is why stories matter, because of course last week AJ Styles screwed over Cody Rhodes, so here at the start of SmackDown, Cody was walking around stomping his feet because he was in a bad mood. And you would be a bad mood. Imagine somebody you know went, oh, I'm gonna retire. You went like, please hug me, and they kicked you in the tuchus. You're not gonna be happy. If you were, you're a weird dude. Also, hello my friends, and welcome to Ups and Downs, the wrestling review show with me, Simon Miller. That's basically it. If you have stumbled across this video, we do it with this, the finger of power, and if you're now saying, well, that sounds absolutely stupid, well, I'm absolutely stupid, and you're absolutely stupid for watching. That last bit's not. Take away the last bit, let's up the downs. Cody, of course, was going to have to wait, though, because it is 2024, which means there was only one way to start SmackDown. Here came the new Bloodline. Ruh-roh. This was because it was time to anoint Tangaloa, which sounds like some kind of massage, but Paul Heyman took over first, because he was like, I just want to talk about what happened 7 days ago, because things went really bad. That's all right, though, because he has now realized until Roman Reigns is able to come back, the person sitting at the head of the table is Solo Sikoa. And I'm sorry, I'm pretty sure if the camera had panned out, he would have had a gun to his head. I don't think Paul believes this at all. The We Want Roman chants then started, so WWE has totally smashed this, when it turned out we were doing a double anointing, because Tama Tonga was going to get a new name. I was hoping we were going to call him Steve the Handyman, because that would have been such a big switch, but instead, he is now Tama Tonga, the right-hand man, and I like this, because we are now taking roles from the OG Bloodline, and we're applying them to the new Bloodline, because Solo wants you to totally forget about the OG Bloodline. Heyman then sang the praises of the infamous Tangaloa, because we love this guy, and we pretended to put a crown on his head, although of course we didn't do that. When Solo took over, and he was like, well, Paul E., maybe you should be thanking these two, because they saved your ass when Kevin Owens was about to destroy you. It's true. Heyman did do that, but the way he reacted is like when somebody comes and asks me to dance. I don't want to do that. I have 2 left feet. I mean, look at this. What's going on? It looks like I'm about to die. Speaking of death as well, that's what Tonga said to Paul Heyman. I'm not kidding either. He was like, we should have let you be murdered, but we got our orders from the tribal chief. That's the only reason we did what we did. So I totally love this madness, and Heyman carried on because he was like, well, actually, I got to the building earlier and I did some investigating. And as it turns out, Kevin Owens has promised that he wants to take revenge on the entire bloodline. Maybe we should just get out of here. This is when Kevin's music hit as well, so maybe, just maybe, Paul Heyman and him are in cahoots. And fair play to KO, for about 10 seconds he was kicking everybody's butt. But you know the wrestling numbers game, and eventually they were all on him. This is when the Street Profits came out to help Kevin Owens, and I really like this because we've snuck them in there, when Kev got a chair and he chased everybody away. And we cut to backstage after this, and Solo Sikoa said to Paul Heyman, you better arrange a 6-man tag team match, otherwise the Gorillas of Destiny are basically going to break you in 2. So in terms of death threats, they're all over this thing. This is all teeing over nicely though, and I'm kind of starting to think that Roman needs to come back sooner than later. I mean, you don't want to miss the peak of this thing, and everybody is now desperate. But yeah, I enjoy the story very much. Just getting it up. When it was Candice LeRae and Indi Hartwell taking on Bianca, Belair and Jade Cargill. Now thankfully we did have a skit here when Nick Aldis was talking to everybody, explaining what was going to happen. But last week they told me it was going to be a singles match. So for about 8 seconds, I was freaking out, because I'm a very strange person. Before we could do much of anything either, out came Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, and then Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark was here too. And if you want to know what I think about that, I can sum it up in one phrase: screw the brand split. Bianca didn't care about any of this because she was cooking with moonsaults. When Candice LeRae and Indi Hartwell remembered, oh my gosh, we are a team, and we can use our partnership to go on a little bit of a run, damn it, they did. Deep down in your tum-tum, you just knew they were going to lose, which is why we continued to tease the tag to Jade Cargill, but when her hand got to the required temperature, she did get that slap, and I tell you, Jade is doing a wonderful hot tag. She ran totally wild here, and she was doing splashes and suplexes, and she even busted out a super kick. Why not? It is 2024. Candice realized that I'd knocked Indi silly, so she broke the pin up at the 1-2 ooh. You can get this t-shirt and other t-shirts right now on ProWrestlingTees.com/Simon Miller. And that is my shilling when Bianca was like, wait a minute, me and Jade are the champions, so we're also a team. And they just went totally crazy here. They hit that awesome finish. Jade got the uno, dos, tres. Of course, this is when everybody on the outside got in there and everybody started fighting everybody else. And it ended with Isla Dawn raising one title and Shayna Baszler holding the other title. So then they started to fight when Jade and Bianca were like, all right, well, we're going to murk you. And that's how this thing ended. So I was pleased, because if you have watched my stuff before, you know I go on and on. It's really annoying about these women's tag team titles. But at the moment, they do have a focus. And as we were going to go later, Jade, Cargill and Bianca Belair went to talk to Nick Aldis, and we're doing the triple threat at the Clash of the Castle pay-per-view premium live event. Now, for the love of everything, don't put it on the pre-show, and let's keep this momentum going up. Nick Aldis was then trying to calm Cody Rhodes down, because we talked about it earlier. But understandably, Cody was like, no, I'm not going to turn down. I'm not going to calm down. That guy betrayed me. Sarah Schreiber also wanted to work with Apollo Crews, because he was meant to be taking on Angel Garza this evening, when Legado del Fantasma decided, well, we don't actually want a match, and they beat the flubble sticks out of him. Eventually, the officials did break this up when LA Knight just walked in. And I tell you, this guy, he has a one-track mind. I don't think he even realized this had happened, because he just had one question: where is Logan Paul? Now, amazingly, Aldis did answer this, and he said, Logan is playing Tetris. Oh, well, to be fair, it's a pretty good reason not to come to SmackDown. I really like Tetris. LA then insinuated he was pretty good at the block game, because he would find a way to take his foot and essentially block it into Logan's ass. I was like, please don't show that on TV. I don't want to see it. Carmelo Hayes must have heard this commotion, though, because he walked in and said, LA Knight, I think you suck. So Nick Aldis made that match for later. That was kind of interesting, we'll get there. It was indeed going to replace the Garza versus Apollo match, though, which again did get thrown to one side. We need to keep our eye on that, too. That's a little bit unexpected. I don't know why. When we took one step closer to completing the Triforce, because last week we had done Tommaso Ciampa versus Austin Theory, so this week we were doing Johnny Gargano versus Grayson Waller. And I tell you, I don't know what my expectations were. This was really good. And Waller was so mad he went after John's knee, so of course Gargano came back with the chops. When they did this sliced bread to the outside, and I'm sorry, they both came off worse for wear on that one. Even the commentators were freaking out, and so was I. It was brutal. Somehow Gargano still hit that springboard spear as Waller just came back with big slams. When they were trading off once again, this is when I realized, oh man, I didn't expect to have such a good time. The destroyer that Johnny Gargano hit after this too was proper 2 + 2 = potato stuff, because it didn't make any sense, but it looked damn good. And given that Grayson rolled to the outside, John then decided he was going to dive on them. We are definitely breaking up Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, because Waller essentially took Austin and he used him as a shield. And after last week when he said mean things, well, they are not long for this world. Of course, this meant Johnny Gargano was totally confused, because no wrestler can handle something happening outside the ring when something is meant to happen inside the ring. So Grayson was like, ha ha, and he used his finish, and he got the win. It all ties in as well, though, because of course Theory did not get the victory last week, but Grayson did here. And that's just another reason why they can fall out. Also, I have a feeling that DIY are going to win the tag team belts, maybe at Clash of the Castle or SummerSlam or a Money in the Bank, and any of these would be totally fine. That's what we should do. And actually, if we do pull the trigger soon, you can do Grayson versus Austin at Hot WrestleMania, aka SummerSlam. That makes sense. It is meant to be a big old time. So yeah, all in all, this was very good. Aldis was then back with Cody Rhodes, and he had a bunch of backup here because he just received word that AJ Styles was about to arrive at the arena, and he doesn't want any nonsense. Now, I did like it because it is how somebody would react. It also gives me the opportunity to update the Hater of the Year 2024 board. So let's do it. Drew McIntyre is still at number 1, given everything he has done over the last 6 months. Recently, he did this social media video from WWE HQ, which is very funny. But AJ Styles is now hot on his heels at number 2, because not only did he fly to Australia just to beat up LA Knight, but now he pretended to retire and use his family as bait just to get another championship shot against Cody. This man is on fire when it comes to hate. Jack Perry is number 3 because he used getting suspended from AEW to justify murder attempts. Liv Morgan is number 4. Just go look at Instagram. Chad Gable remains at number 5 because he is a proper emotional manipulator. So there we go. We're halfway through the year, and that's how we stand. I mean, to be honest, the board can be anywhere. Turned out Nick was telling the truth, though, because AJ and the Good Brothers did arrive, and everybody just yelled at everybody else, when Cody realised, well, I'm not going to achieve anything here, and he just stormed to the ring, and man, I like this too. We didn't get any music, we didn't get any pomp and circumstance, the American Nightmare just wanted to sort things out. He also demanded that Styles brought his ass to the ring, so I was like, oh, maybe AJ is going to show us his donkey, but that did not happen, and instead, these two once again just got into it verbally. Gallows and Anderson were with him too, so these three are definitely back together. And AJ Styles went Batista here because he was like, just give me what I want. And Cody was like, well, do you want a title shot? And AJ's like, you're damn right I want a title shot. And man, we are not standing on ceremony, Mr. Wayne. This is going down at Clash at the Castle. Cody also had a great idea because if AJ Styles was so desperate to pretend to quit, why don't we do an I Quit match? I like that too. Makes sense. He then just ran at AJ as we got this proper brawl, although officials were out there to break it up. And I just think all of this has been handled so well, because as crazy as it does sound, it won't be the main event of that pay-per-view premium live event. That has to be Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest. So why not just put a banger right in the middle of the thing? Exactly. It also probably means that Cody Rhodes could take out AJ Styles, Gallows, and Anderson. But why not do this? He's meant to be your super duper babyface, and everybody loves him, and that includes me. Give it in now. When we did get right into Carmelo Hayes versus LA Knight, you could see what was going on here. WWE had sat down and gone, well, we do want to do this match, but Carmelo has to lose because he hasn't really won on the main roster, but we don't want him to lose properly. So what do? And somebody else went, surprise roll-up. So that's what happened. And I do get it too, like you would never do this with somebody like Cody Rhodes, who did take on Carmelo, so why are we doing it with LA Knight? Because he should be headed in that direction. But all things considered, I do think it made sense. Hayes had the upper hand for a while too, until he threw LA Knight into Tina the Turnbuckle, because he came exploding out with a clothesline, and he took his head off. They then went to the outside, and Knight did his favourite new thing, which is to take his opponent's head and just smash it into furniture on the outside. That's what he did. But also got backdropped onto Alan the announce table when LA got totally screwed. It was the dreaded commercial break. Because by the time we had come back, Hayes was now in control, so I figured this one out. I bet Carmelo looked at LA and went, Noah. LA was like, that's not my catchphrase, damn it. And he was so frustrated, Hayes got him. That'll do. Even when Knight tried to do his run up the Tina the Turnbuckle spot, Carmelo was like, no, I'm not having any of that, and kind of jiggled out of there. So LA decided, all right, well, I'm just going to knee you right in the head. That's what he did. Hayes then came back with a face buster for his own 1-2-ooh as LA Knight tried to hit the superstar elbow or the megastar elbow, but he missed. But he is a man that will never stop trying, so he just got back into a position where he could do it. And he did it. Before that too, Carmelo Hayes had tried for the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up, but it didn't work. But when LA Knight tried to go for the BFT, Carmelo went for the most devastating move again, but he's not experienced enough, or LA is more experienced, because he reversed the polarity, and he got the win. Knight also promised us that he is going to confront Logan Paul very soon, so I can see a world where we do match one at Clash at the Castle, and Logan cheats to win, where once again we get to SummerSlam, and Knight becomes our US champion. As long as we do that, it doesn't matter that he beat Carmelo Hayes in this way, but again, let's make sure we keep hitting Carmelo up too, because he's really good. Thought it was fine. For some reason, Tiffany Stratton then went up to Nia Jax and said, hey Nia, I've got your back if you need it. Jax just walked off. She was like, I don't need you. And she's right. In terms of being a single star, she's smashing it, and she's a queen. Nia did eventually walk into Meechin, though, who basically poured a drink over her. So these two brawled, and they are going to fight next week. And Jax is probably going to kill her. They got a video reminding you of everything that had been going down with Bayley recently, which was very well timed. Because you're not going to believe this, Bayley then walked to the ring. She also confirmed that she will be taking on Piper Niven at Clash of the Castle. This was a terrible mistake, because as per Wrestling Rule 14.8, if you do say your opponent's name, they will walk to the ring. And she did. And Piper also had Chelsea Green. Chelsea then told Bayley, you're nothing but a big loser, and all these fans are losers too, and that made me laugh. And when we do get to this premium live event, Piper Niven is going to whoop her ass and become the champ. Bayley had had enough by this point because she doesn't respect Green at all. But actually, she does respect Piper Niven, because she even remembers back in 2017 when she competed in the Mae Young Classic. She then put Piper over hard when Niven got the mic, and she's like, you know nothing about my journey. We can go all the way back to 2008 here. That's when I started. Now we've been winning titles across the world. So now it's time. I'm going to take that title too. Now, yes, the crowd was watting at this point, and even though Piper tried to shut it down by saying inbred say what, I actually don't think they understood that one, and they did keep on with this, but the point was made very clear. Piper is going to be competing in her home country, so there's no two ways about it. She's got to win. But this started off meaning this was Super Serious 9000, which is the way in wrestling. And look, I do want to say this. Sometimes I like to look on the human side of sports entertainment, and I think it's awesome that Piper Niven is getting this opportunity in Scotland, because she has been going for ages and faced a lot of adversity. So this just made me feel warm and fuzzy in my tum-tum, so I am giving it an up. I also think the match itself will be really, really good, but in terms of the build and what we had here, well, I just don't think it's clicking. That's why the fans live at the building were a little bit disconnected. It all kind of feels like it's been in fast forward. And that's totally fine too, like not everything can land. Wrestling does go on for 365 days a year, and ultimately the end of the result of this will be entertaining. But in terms of what we did here, yeah, just kind of felt like a swing and a miss, even though I thought Piper Niven's delivery was pretty good. But I do think you have to give it a down. It just didn't work. When, damn it, I just had this really good video with Logan Paul. Because he was indeed at home, and yes, he is preparing for the Tetris Championships or a Tetris tournament or whatever it is, when he just laid into LA Knight going, you call yourself a megastar, you can't even win a title. But the truth of the matter is, he is just so good at being an asshole, and you can take that for what it's worth. But when it was done, my gut reaction was, man, I hope that LA Knight does whip your butt. That's his whole job. So once again, I really hope we do see this through to its obvious conclusion, which is LA Knight becoming the US champion. But I do have to give it an up. Like, it only lasted 2 minutes, but I was just impressed. What can I do? Somebody shoot me out of a cannon, but up. Niven and Green then bumped into Nick Aldis, who was also talking to Naomi, when Naomi basically said, Chelsea, I don't like you. And all of a sudden, that match was made for next week. The hell did that come from? We're also going to be getting the Grayson Waller effect with DIY, so you can tie that in when we got to our main event. The Bloodline taking on Kevin Owens and the Prophets of the Street. Now, it really does seem like our main aim at the moment is to sell this new Bloodline. They're totally unhinged. They don't care about winning. They don't care about losing. They just want to hurt you. That's why it's pretty good that WWE is calming down with the shenanigans right now. You really have to save it for them. It also means when Roman Reigns does return, he's just going to get an even bigger pop. And fair play to Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford. They too had remembered that they are a pretty good tag team, and they used their relationship. For a small while there, they were whipping the Tonga. The problem is Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa are also a well-oiled unit, so they started to get back into this. Once again, much like the tag from earlier, Kevin Owens was just running around the ring apron like he was going to explode. I kind of folded my arms and I thought, man, you're just so damn good. We also got to call out Solo Sikoa here because he was throwing people into the ring post and hitting Samoan drops. And he is Samoan, so this was totally fine. But of course, eventually, he tagged out and somebody had to get the hot slab too, Kev. He went totally nuts. The crowd desperately wanted to see this too because he did go after Sikoa, but eventually they engaged in the battle of the super kicks. And when he went for the stunner, Solo said no, he ducked that, and then he was going to go for the spike, but Kevin Owens ducked that too, and he did hit the stunner. Yes. Of course, before he could get the 3, the Gorillas of Destiny pulled him out of the ring because they love doing that. This is when Montez came out of nowhere and did his mega dive, but Sikoa couldn't handle any of this. He blew his top, he took a chair, he just smashed forward right in the back. The referee was watching this and he was like, why do you have to make my life so hard? That's a disqualification. But once again, I am glad that WWE isn't doing this throughout their shows, otherwise it would have taken away from this. And even though all the teams tried to get into it afterwards, the Bloodline did have the upper hand and they left everybody laying. They even threw Kevin Owens through Alan the announce table. Damn. It meant that we got to the end of SmackDown and we all pointed our fingers to the sky. So once again, I really hope the plan is for Roman Reigns to come back soon, because you can just feel this is about to get to its fever pitch. That's when we need to get his music. Hello, blah, blah. Doesn't go like that. For some reason, I'm losing my voice. You also want to make sure you give the fans what they want, so I am going to give this an up, especially because, again, I am fantasy booking all the way to November, when I think we get the Bloodline Civil War. That is going to be pretty damn good. We've also got this brand new Bloodline feeling even crazier than the other Bloodline too, so overall I am going to give this SmackDown an up. And I'm very excited about Clash of the Castle because that crowd is going to be out of control. Drew McIntyre is probably about to win that world title in front of his home fans, and Piper Niven is going to get her moment too. And that's nothing to do with anything here. still gigging up. Now, of course, please do leave me a comment below and let me know what you thought about last night's episode of SmackDown. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the video that's on the screen right now, which is ups and downs for AEW, because as I always say, we support all wrestling in this damn place. Otherwise, take care, my friends. Have a great weekend. See you soon.